World War One. What was World War One? What started out as a local European war soon became a global war that lasted from 1914 to 1918. World War One was the first war that involved nations from all around the world and is commonly called the Great War or the War to End All Wars. Why was there a war in 1914? The war that happened in 1914 had been brewing for a long time. The most powerful countries in Europe were rivals for power. As soon as one country started to build up its army and navy, the other countries felt like they had to do the same. They formed alliances with each other, promising to help each other out if war ever broke out and what to do if they were ever invaded. There were two alliances in World War I. The Triple Alliance, Austria-Hungary and Germany-Italy, the Triple Entente, Britain, France, and Russia. What caused the war? Europe was tense, ready to break out for war at any moment, and would make sure that all major powers became involved. On June 28, 1914, the son of an Austrian emperor was assassinated by a Serbian nationalist in Sarajevo. Serbia was in the Balkans, a part of Europe that Russia and Hungary struggled for years. Serbia was friendly with Russia, not Austria-Hungary, so exactly 1 month later, Austria-Hungary invaded Serbia. Germany was ready to help Austria-Hungary invade Serbia. Meanwhile, Russia was ready to help Serbia. France had agreed to help Russia, while Italy was not really sure what to do. Britain did not want to get involved, but eventually joined in 1960. It joined the war against Austria-Hungary, hoping to gain land at the end of the war. Life in the trenches. Most of the action took place in the trenches. They were dug deep into the ground in a zigzag pattern to protect soldiers from advancing enemies. Soldiers spent an average period of 8 days in the trench, where they were constantly under the threat of attack. Soldiers experienced everything from trench fever, a painful infection caused by lice species, to trench foot, which caused a fungal foot infection that could result in an amputation. Trench warfare. Soldiers fought with rifles, bayonets, and hand grenades. Big artillery guns fired heavy shells at enemy trenches. Shells could do a lot of damage, but artillery guns were not accurate, and their shells could only be expected to hit the general area of the target. The most deadly weapons were machine guns, which fired hundreds of bullets accurately. As one German soldier said, "You didn't have to aim, you just have to fire into them." When did World War I end? Germany had formally surrendered on November 11, 1918, and all nations had agreed to stop fighting while the terms of peace were negotiated. On June 28, 1919, Germany and the Allied nations, including Britain, France, Italy, and Russia, signed the Treaty of Versailles, formally ending the war. Why did Germany surrender in World War I? The First World War ended when an armistice was signed between the Germans and the Allies. At that point, while Germany had no realistic hopes of winning the war, they had no enemies within their borders and still had troops in the enemy territory. Fun fact! During the Christmas of 1914, soldiers from both sides temporarily stopped fighting and called a Christmas truce. They laughed, sang carols, and exchanged presents. Thank you for watching.
Created using Powtoon.